Hey people, I was looking at 2 Samuel and it's caught my eye in 2 Samuel 4. It's because it's talking about bars and beers and brews and bards. And this is something I knew a lot about, so I thought I'd put it beside its parody, take a closer look at it. And when I say parody, I mean the Greek. You know, when Weird Al Yankovic, he does a parody of a song, and usually you have to add a lot more extra words, to keep on with that tune and to make any sense of it. And that's what's going on here in the Greek. There was no paradise in the Hebrew Bible. That's a word that was made up for this parody over here. Para, meaning over, to cover, and the days on. And here it's the days of, and parodies of, the N followed by the E, of a bed, of the bed and cotta, the bed and under, the parodies of, and it's ancient stories about, what's under the bed. The Fute has in noticed of the parodies of the bed is under. And in the next line, it talks about the parodies several times here. The ancient story about, and call on his bros, and all my brothers come over. We're out here on the front porch talking about, and a talks will on this O's, and he named her Zoe because she was the mother of all life. This Zoe's, and this Zoe's in the midst of the parodies of, and talks will on to why the teenage knows it's on. I know that's your baby. I can tell he got your same big old lips, We know that's your baby there. Ain't nobody in this town got blue eyes but you, And why the teenage, the knowest on. We know that's your teenage. And the parodies of the potty, and it's said in the potties, the hint on, I read it on the bathroom wall. It's said in the potties, a hint on, the parodies on. And here in 15, the parodies of the farmer's daughter, urges the stay, and this is actually the night, to stay the night, but it's ancient stories, and they're making parodies of. This is the farmer's daughter. This is Virgo, god of work, and verges and urges the stay. And I'll get back to this. I found a bunch of stuff in Genesis too I want to show you, but yeah, this parody, it just comes up in the second chapter and in the third chapter a couple times, and that's it. You won't see that word again. So what this pronounces as in the Hebrew, when I say Hebrew, Hebrew is not a language. Hebrew is a writing style. This is an ancient English language, and it's pronounced the way I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to read it just like it's on the page. It says, why brew? W-Y-B-R-E-W. And why meaning how or who, ancient English. Who brews? How brew? And why brew the bardom? Got 'em who yea was 'em. Grim a deum ease. And why brew is when you throw a bunch of mash in a pot and you make up something tasty out of it. You make a beer, a wine, a brew. But when you're an alchemist, it's the bardom. And a bard, B-A-R-T, B-A-R-D, this is a guy who's carrying that little bitty guitar. He comes in, he follows the queen and her girlfriends around, and he's real quick with the wit, and he makes up a song about what's going on and who brew, and he brews it up, and he throws all the nasty into the pot, and he brews it up in the bardom. And so the bard is the song, the quick-witted song player, and the I am is the thing that he's doing. So this is the song. And how brew the song? And got 'em. Got 'em who? G-T-I-M, got them, and H-U. That got 'em who? Yea. I would like. Yea, in the beginning, God said, yea, light. And there was light. I would like light. Yea. A yea vote. and got 'em, yea, was 'em, a grim Diomede. This is ancient Adam language. They can't change it, universal. Kid gets what he wants, he says, yay. Yay, that's the one I wanted. Yay, that's the way I like it. And got 'em, yay. And got 'em who, yay, was 'em. And got the girl I wanted. And why brew who a bardom, got 'em who, yay, was 'em. And your name here, and yay, was 'em. Hey, June. Grim Diomede, grim and hate to see the morning come until day, a Diomedes, want to chew your arm off. And so grim, the only thing we think about that, is the grim reaper, the reaper that we don't like to see. The reaper is usually the harvest season is happy. It's always when you have the party, you have extra. So grim is the thing that's getting harvested. Everybody's happy except the one who's being harvested. He's the grim. And your name's going in the ad day these. Your name's going in the book, the grim day of these. And if you look at it backwards, it's a merge, and that's where they're getting this sojourners from. To spend a day and during, to merge together. During at the same time. And so in the parody they kind of put this up here. It's where the diocese comes from, of the day. They sang as administration. But you can see it in there, Dio and God, and says is. What God says is diocese. And it's hidden over here in a diathese. But there definitely isn't no beerathites there. This is a bed, a B-E-D. A bed and a day, a day of these. And that's a little slut, that's somebody who wakes up in a different bed every day. That would be talking about the moon. And a Peter has on the bed a day of these, that's who you'd have got drunk and woke up with it, dude. A bed a day of these, got a Peter on him, and ran away the beer of this. Drank too much beer, woke up with a little runaway. And a Peter is on the better day of these. A Gotham. Welcome to Gotham City. Gotcha. A Gotham which is on the lay. A Gotham which is on the lay. The K before the E reads the L. And a key is what that is in here in Spanish. But it means that spot, the lay. What lays on that spot? And Gotham, which is on, and has on the lay, and which is on the lay. For count is, you see this, the O-I reads the E, but you see this in the household all the time. And for account is the one in charge of what's going on in the household, the monies, the account. And for account to this, somebody will pay. And for account is, has this come the rest of this. Come the rest. You're going to pay the price with everything other than your Peter's on. So what you guys a parody over here, there was never anything Greece. There never was a Greece. There's no Greece in either the Greek or the Hebrew Bible. It's an ancient brand name for a gay lubricant, butthole jelly. The wars between the Greeks and the Titans and the Trojans, that was all fictional stories. You'll find the Titans is a Greek word for the midwives. And a Peter is on the Bedadea, theys, it belongs to them, theirs. Theys got 'em, Gotham. And which is of, I miss this all the time because the N fits so well a lot of times. But followed by E reads a V, which is of the lay. For account is, has this come the rest of this. And so this is why King James is called a version. Verse means to change. They couldn't write it the same. They had to totally flip it. And Jerome's Latin, if you didn't learn the Greek and the Hebrew first, you're not going to get anything out of Jerome's Latin. And over here in the Old English, why brew a bardom got 'em who, yea was 'em, Gramadeum these, which was harvested a day of these, the day they were collected. But it looks like writings of hard times, grim, not looking good, a day these. Then in the I Ching over here, hey, you can change your look. If you was gay, you could turn what might be a bad day into a good day. So in the Greek, you read the A word backwards here. And so it's, a Peter's on. It's just when hazard. When hazard if. It's got a hazard there. Ain't no problem. Just swerve around that cone over there. And when the hazard if. If the better day this got 'em. Which is of the lay for account is has this come the rest of this. And if you look this word up and see if it's used more than one time, there's a good chance you'll see it come up just like this, and they'll have it interpreted the same, but there'll be a tack over here. All the same word, just have a little tack here. And that's where the word merger come from, to merge. It would be a merger of a diamees, the church and the government merged together. But it sounds like that's where that comes from. The creme, is the cream of the crop. And the grim and the grail is what's on the edges, what's on the outskirts of the field that ain't worth. You don't want to mix it in with the good crops that were growing in the middle of the field. And it's grail, it's left for the birds. But I told you before that this is all just a preface before Genesis 1. And the book of Genesis don't start till here. And this is the Bible, the book of Genesis. And so I color-coded these first couple lines to get a better idea of what this is about. And it gives you a real quick idea. Don't take about a minute to see that God is the earth. The book is about the heavens, the earth, God, the earth, the field, the earth, God, the earth, to cultivate the earth, the ground. You see, that's just it, but it's talking about the earth, to work it. And the mist from the earth, and the whole face of the ground, the whole face of the earth, of this gist, of this location. You can see that urge is here again, and there was to work, in of urge is to stay. If there's good paying jobs, that'll urge people to stay. But, back before money, farmers would use their daughter. But there's 3 lines that come before this, before the book of Genesis starts here. And they mistranslate this as the 7th day, but actually it's not. It's the first day. It's the day of Mu, which is the 6th day of Virgo, the Virgin Auto. And the 6th of Virgo was the day of Mu, was the first day of the Egyptian year. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to show you in here. I'm going to have to make a whole complete another movie about this, but I want to show you something about these first line in these 3 in Latin too. Here it's paying homage to Lucifer as Venus. And over here it's paying homage to Virgo, to the Virgin Auto, God of work, the ergonomy. In the Hebrew, I think it's the easiest to read, and white clue, W-Y, how a clue, K-L-U-E, and the S and that mem is an N, and Y clues in where it's, W-E-A-R-X, where it's a clam, backwards and forwards, a clam, C-L-M, and then A-V-X, a clam of its in 'em. And a clue's in where it's a clam of its in 'em. And so when you see the god Venus, she's always riding on the clam. And this is the Greek parody created because the older god of Venus wasn't all that appetizing. And in the Greek over here, it was of a tale of this on, of our on as wedge, a phase of cosmos aton. And so a wedge is at 30 degrees. A wedge is same word as taco when it says on the first day, on the page 1, and the first day, and let there be tacos, A taco it means a wedge. A good taco shell, it should arc about 30 degrees. So when you put 12 of them together, back to back. You got a globe. It's talking about was of a tell of this on, of the hour on as a wedge of phase of cosmosaton. It's a machine that they use to tune up and tell the future, the cosmosaton. And then it goes on later and tells me, it's the sixth day. And I read that before. I already knew that the sixth day of Virgo is the first day of the year, called Mu, which would be the first day in the Greek Bible. And it means the day of high water. It means the floods come up. Everybody comes out the Nile Valley up into Egypt. It's a big party. It's the big Sabbath. And I'll read more about this, but I want to show you the Latin here. Just this first line up here. This is the Latin on the top. Not a bunch of words. Made it real simple, but they're talking about here, and was finished, was of a tell of this on, of the hour on as a wedge, a phase, a cosmosaton. He created his little gadget here to foretell the future. In the Hebrew Bible, that mostly had to do with Venus, the sons of Israel. That's the biggest planet closest to us. It has the most pull. But when you look over here in the Latin, this is a German scientist. This is a German clockmaker who's been trying to tune his machine and get it just right. And it says, a getter perfect is when to casually it attir gestum in is ornatus horum. And I get her perfect, he's tuned it up and he's blending all these words together, and get her perfect is when to casually, casually means and came about, and it here, the second R reading is a J and the AE reading is a ES. It gestum in is, to get it just right, just at the right time in. When the planet gets in is or a natus horum. A natus, that's a natal. That's where the skies sit on your birthday. A natus horum. The Latin was an old English scientist too. I get her perfect is when to casually it here justum in is. It here justum in is or natus horum. And so everybody believes that there is some religious officials that can read this Latin and read this Hebrew and the Greek, and they just can't. That's just something that you assumed and believe it, but there is none of them. I've been calling them out for a long time now. Nobody's ever stepped up and said, yeah, we actually can read this. But I know they can't. They won't, because they're going to be embarrassed. I know by reading this that no Christian in history has ever learned to read Hebrew or Greek or Latin. Some of them may have memorized what they were told this said, but they can't do it in the Hebrew because they give too many different meanings to the words. Nobody uses this language because they can't read and write it. Nobody uses this Greek anymore. They can't read and write it. And I'm going to cut this off and I'll make another movie and show you more about what was going on this seventh day. I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.